Hi, I'm Jill Ramirez. I'm the owner and esthetician of Jill and Skin Therapy here in Olympia, Washington. And I wanted to come on here and make this little video for those of you that are thinking about becoming estheticians, those of you that may have already enrolled and you're waiting to start your school, or maybe you're midway through and you're starting to panic, thinking you just don't think you know enough to get out there in the real world and practice what you've been learning. Okay, the reason why, really, honestly, that I felt like I needed to do this is because there were things that I would have loved to have heard when I was kind of midway through my program. And I thought maybe this would be helpful to those of you. So first I'd like to talk to those of you that are thinking about becoming an esthetician and you're very serious about it, and you're so serious that you've actually sat down to start looking at schools that you might want to go to. Now, some of you may have no choice. You may have to go someplace very nearby where you live. Some others, maybe you have no choice, or at least your choices have really narrowed because you need to get financing. And, you know, these schools have to be accredited and so forth in order to qualify for them to be able to, you know, give you grants or to work with the federal government in order for you to get those special financing situations. So, you know, that could have really solidified your choice if it's that reason. And for those lucky few, you know, where you have the money yourself and you can really pick and choose where you want to go, distance may not even be a factor. So for those of you that are those lucky few, what sort of criteria should you be looking at? Do you want to get into a program that maybe has a certain philosophy and it appeals to you? Personally, this is my advice. Okay, this is across the board, and this is for those of you that are even midway, almost getting ready to graduate maybe. You've got to remember the sole purpose for your schooling is to pass the practical and written exam so you can become a licensed esthetician. Now, does this mean you should not care about the education that you get, you know, in the meantime? No, absolutely not. But you have to remember that they need to have a really high rate of passing for those that have taken the exam. You need to look at those numbers, and they should be absolutely available to you. Find out what their graduation rate is. Find out more specifically what their passing rate is for the state licensing. How many in the program actually get their license? That's the most important piece of criteria, honestly, that you need to focus on in your program, because that means that they are teaching you what you need to know to pass and get your licensure. From somebody that has, you know, been through actually cosmetology school back in the day and through aesthetic school, I will tell you that is what you need to remain focused on. If you get frustrated and you feel like you aren't getting the type of quality of education that you imagined it to be, if your school has a very high pass rate on the licensing, that is really important, because the real education that you get that will mold and really create the kind of esthetician that you are going to become is going to happen after you have your license. It is going to be up to you to further your education and to take your education from this very foundational point and bring it to a place where you want it to be. So you're going to get your licensing, you're going to pass those exams, you are now a licensed esthetician. Now you are going to build upon that very basic foundation of knowledge to become the kind of esthetician that you dream of becoming. And that education should be forever and always something that you build upon throughout your career. There are a multitude of online avenues you can go to further your education. There are, all kinds of on-site trainings. Maybe it's from a piece of equipment that you finally saved up to get, and now you're going to get trained on that. You're going to get more and more education along your journey. So I was one of those that was getting really frustrated in my program because I felt that I wasn't getting the kind of education that I thought I was supposed to be getting, while I was in school. I wanted something more in depth. I wanted to go deeper into things. I wanted, it's kind of like, I wanted the master's program when I was just getting my AA kind of thing. And that is just not the way it works. Now, there are certain philosophies of different programs that could appeal to you. But I say go in with an open mind. You don't know exactly. You think you know, but you don't know maybe exactly the way you want to go. But I did try to keep an open mind while I was in school, and even, and afterwards as well, once I graduated. And then I finally kind of fell into this place and developed my philosophy on how to treat skin, and it just kind of started evolving then. But while you're in school, I would keep an open mind. I would not get focused on, you feel like maybe you're not getting in depth enough. Maybe you feel your teacher may not know what you think she should know, and so you're feeling panicking that maybe you're going to graduate and not know what you should know. That is absolutely most likely untrue. Your school's sole purpose, this is what you want to remember no matter where you are in your program, no matter if you are thinking about which school to go to, your school's sole purpose is to get you licensed. They want those high numbers because they want the public to know that, hey, if you go to the school, you're going to know what you need to know to pass your exams. And that is where you need to focus on. You don't want a bunch of superfluous information being thrown at you that you do not need to draw upon to get your license. That kind of information you can fill your head space after you get your license. So this is why I feel it's so important to look at those numbers of the schools that you're going to if you can pick and choose. If you're really lucky and you can pick and choose, I would look at those numbers first. Now, say you really, really are strongly that you want to probably be a more holistic, natural approach to skincare kind of esthetician. And those kind of schools that teach that sort of philosophy as their kind of foundational starting point is really important to you. There is nothing wrong with that, but make sure that those numbers are very high when it comes to how many of their, alumni or whatever, pass that state exam. Because yes, that's great and excellent, but you want to make sure that their students are passing those exams so they can get their license. So yeah, because remember, you can explore all of that after you get licensed. So what I'm saying, say you're in the middle of your program and you are really doubting this education that you're getting. I would say 9.5 times out of 10, it's okay. Take a deep breath. It's okay. You're doing great. As long as you are passing those tests and you're studying hard and you're staying focused and you're absorbing the information that they're teaching you and you're doing well, you're good. You're fine. You are absolutely getting the education that you are meant to get while you're in aesthetic school. So anything else you learn is the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, and that's great. For instance, I went to an Aveda Institute. It was not my first choice, but I had to because it was accredited, and I need federal assistance to go to school. So it was actually my second choice. And it ended up, I mean, I don't know because I didn't get to go through that other program as well. But I have to say, I felt like it was wonderful. And in like I said, throughout the program, I was really starting to panic. Like, I don't even know if I'm getting the knowledge that I should be getting, thinking that I guess out of the gate, I'm going to be this, like I've been working for 5 years already as I graduated or whatever, but I was doing very well. I was doing very well on my tests. I was doing very well, period, and so I was fine. But I really would have appreciated if somebody would have said, Jill, you're fine. You're going to be fine. You're doing great. You're doing fine. Just continue, doing what you're doing, and you will pass your tests. And lo and behold, I did. So that's what you want. That's what you want out of your program is your license. That's the exciting thing. That piece of paper, frame that baby, put it on the wall, and start now educating yourself, because now you can really, really have fun. So, okay. I hope that was helpful, you guys. I know I would have really appreciated again that. And don't get too frustrated with your teacher. Again, I know I would ask questions and my teacher would not know the answers. And I really would be like panicking. And I really liked my teacher a lot. It's just, but it was stuff that I really learned later, and probably, got home and looked it up myself, and which I did. But again, be careful. Don't fill your brain up with so much information, because you just need to pass your practical exam and that written exam to get your license. And that's the stuff that you need to focus on. The boards want to know that you are going to do no harm, that you're going to be safe, that you're going to understand sanitation, sterilization, that you are going to present a very clean, that those things. That's the stuff that is so important that you retain, because you are going to find that on your exams. Throughout your practical and, of course, your written exams. So, and that's all very vital, and you're going to take that knowledge with you wherever you go, because safety is number one in this business, that's for sure. So pay real close attention to that, and you're going to learn, you are absolutely going to learn the basics of skin. You are learning histology, that study of the skin, the science of skin, and you are going to learn the layers of the skin, how that happens, how pigmentation occurs, how you are gonna learn all of that, because it's on the test, and your school is going to want you to know all of that stuff. And that is the basics, the foundation. And you really need to get that stuff down. You really need to get the basics first. Don't worry about the other stuff. If you don't have the basics down, and if you don't understand how the skin works, and you don't, that's going to be a problem, because anything else you get is not going to really make sense, and you're not going to be able to process that in a way that is going to really work for you or your clients, for that matter. So you're learning the basics, and that is what you really need to understand. So don't worry, don't panic. It's all good. You're going to be fine, okay? Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that I can. So if you have questions, if you're in school, getting ready to go to school, feel free to ask those questions that's on your mind, because if I can help put you at ease, I definitely will. Okay. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.